motherhood is a beautiful thing. But I also don't like the fact that, you know, if someone wants to have kids, you're not asked, why do you want kids?
Wow.
So why are you asked if you don't want?
In our culture, I'm Pakistani as well, like boys get away with different things than girls do.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of it is like, because he's a boy, he can do this.
Yes.
Or you're a girl, so you can't do this.
Yeah.
So when you go, that's the Lionel Messi, yeah, let's get it.
Oh, look at me, habibi. Oh, Dubai Jeep, let's get it. Oh, look at me, habibi. Dubai Jeep, let's get it. Bags, expensive.
Then touch me. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. No, I have to back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stroke of Success Podcast. It's your favorite host, KB. Today, I'm here in Houston with a very special guest, a friend who I made about, I think, 2 to 3 years ago on social media. I came across her interview, another podcast. I was amazed for 2 reasons. A, she's Pakistani, and number 2, she's an entrepreneur, and number 3, she's kicking butt. She is one of the owners of Maxx Builders,
Yes.
a Maxx designer,
Yes.
right? You have a your husband owns a credit card processing company,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What's the name of that?
Payment Studio.
Baby Studios.
Yes.
Miss Pakistan 2017 here in Houston.
Yes.
Right? And you have a digital marketing company called Buzz.
Yes.
And anything else off the list we were missing, because you're doing a lot of stuff, girl.
Yes. We'll start with that.
Hira, welcome
Nice
to the
to
episode.
meet you.
Welcome to the episode of Stroke of Success. We've been talking for a little bit.
Yes, we have. I feel like I know you.
Yeah, same here.
I know your wife.
Yeah,
I know the
same here.
kids.
Same here.
I know the
Same
the
here.
new Met spa.
Yeah, same
and
here.
Just
And, you know, and like I know Anil like he's my friend. We never met Anil, and when we meet, I'm like, dude, I know your life.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. You're blessed. I know your brother, your mom, and you have these amazing social media banters. Amazing. That should be a page of its own, by the way.
Yeah.
She's adorable. May Allah bless her. Let's get into it, girl. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Pakistan, Karachi, and raised here in Houston, Texas. So been here all my life.
How old when you came to America?
I was, so we came here 2 times, right? So originally when I came here, I was 4. And then we stayed here for a couple of years and I went back, or my parents decided to go back. My mom didn't like it here. And then I moved back when I was 10. So I was in Pakistan for, I would say, 4 years, and then we moved back.
Karachi lifestyle. Mom and dad were upper class, middle class, working class.
Middle class?
In Pakistan.
Yeah, in Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
He comes here, your dad comes here. What do you do for a living?
So my dad back home, he was working with a large developer who did mixed-use projects.
Mm-hmm.
And when he moved here, he was like, oh, I want to do something, you know, similar to what I have been doing. So he was always in real estate and construction. So that's what he wanted to do. My grandfather was a civil engineer, so it just kind of like runs in the blood to go into that field. And he started doing his construction in 1996, and then just grew it from there. Really, that's how it started.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a family business pretty much. All right, cool. So you're in America.
Yeah.
You are what we called a fob kid.
Yes.
I'm sure in the previous interview I heard that it was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
Tell me about that a little bit.
So the reason it was a struggle was, you know, being an immigrant kid, it's always about, you know, your immigration issues, which being in America, a lot of people can relate to that, not just being Pakistani, but I think no matter where you're from, like we have an Italian couple who dealt with similar things and so on. Mm-hmm. So I think from that perspective, it was difficult. And then assimilating, right, in the Western culture. And, you know, when you bring your kids here, you want to keep as much as you can, like Pakistani roots. Yeah. But then I think just being able to understand, like there's a happy medium. Sure. And why did we really move from Pakistan if we were gonna live, you know, those same ways? I think we need to take the good and adapt to the new systems. So I think that also growing up, my brother, myself, we faced a lot of challenges because of the traditional lifestyle that my parents are coming
So
from.
your dad, mom and dad conservative.
Yes.
Right. For me, it was right. Like I have some white friends here. I come home and my grandmother's making me roti here.
Yeah.
And it's like different hats. Was that an issue for you?
No, definitely, and I feel like every kid goes through
Yes.
that. It definitely was, and Horace and I, we grew up in the same household. He is very different from how I am. I think I took the most culture because there was a lot of focus, me being a girl and being the eldest, to put things in perspective for me. So I think there's definitely a lot of things that we have to go through, no matter which culture we come from. But I think especially being brown parents in general just want to still be the same, especially the middle class traditional parents who they want their kids. Yeah, and we have a very large family, and majority of those people, they're still the same. They live by the same traditions. And I think Harris and I are so different that my parents are so different. So amongst everyone, they are the most progressive, because I think Harris and I kind of broke those barriers.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of my wife and her brother, Bilal. My wife has this older sister, but my wife's the middle child, but she has a younger brother, Bilal. And my sister-in-law and my wife are very cultural. And my brother-in-law, Bilal, my brother, he's very progressive. He married a Brazilian girl.
Yeah.
He was on my podcast recently, and he's very open-minded to talk about stuff outside of Islam.
Yeah.
And my in-laws have adopted to that.
Yeah.
But of course, Saima and my sister-in-law Samita are like the daughters. Eh?
Yes, yes.
The standards are really different, right?
Yes.
And that's what it is, I think, in old households.
Yeah.
In our culture, I'm Pakistani as well. Like the boys get away with different things than girls do.
Yep, it's true.
And
it's a lot of it is like, because he's a boy, he can do this,
Yes.
and you're a girl, so you can't do this.
Yeah.
And that was a big struggle, but my brother and I are very close, even growing up. So I was never jealous or envious. In fact, he would back me up in a lot of things, and so that's why I never developed that. But I always questioned it, like, okay, in my head, well, why does he get to do different things?
Yeah.
And I think with the new generation, it's kind of there is a change. I do see with the new set of parents, they're changing slowly. It's
Yeah.
like you have similar
They're
rules.
adapting to it. Talk to me is high school years. I mean, high school is a really crucial crossroads for us, right? Before college, puberty,
Yeah.
and especially in our culture, a girl hits puberty back in the day, right, 80s and 90s. It's like, oh, time to prepare for her get her married.
Yeah.
And we have rishtas are the proposals we have in our
Yeah.
culture, right?
Yeah.
How's that whole situation for you?
I think I was the most lost during high school. The reason for that was I have always been very, I call myself a dreamer. I've always dreamed that, I want to do this with life and that with life. And marriage was in there, but it wasn't the utmost priority. But in my household, that was the priority.
Yeah.
So I started getting proposals when I was 14, which it's like
Unheard of.
shunned
In the Western world, right? I mean, in our culture, it's a known thing.
So, I mean, the guy was 16 or something like that as well, but it was just like they're like, oh, once they're older, we'll get them married. And the reason parents do that, so you don't go out there and date and things like that,
And things happen.
which that's a whole other story.
Yes.
Being a progressive Muslim, I think dating is so important.
I agree.
But it was just, high school was focus was, okay, you need to get married. It was also because you're an immigrant, and in order for you to really be able to stay here, which is, it's a long story in regards to that, but we can discuss it another day. But I was lost, and honestly, because the future, like my friends, they were discussing which college they were going to go to and whatnot, and me, obviously, I didn't share my insecurities with friends, but internally, I was like, what am I going to do? What is my future is going to be, because I am an immigrant. Like, can I even go to school, college, a good college? So I had all of these questions, and I would internalize a lot of those mental thoughts. So other than a dreamer, I think a lot in my head. I talk a lot in my head, and those were things that I was doing.
It's a lot to carry in your head. I mean, I'm sure therapy wasn't an option, right?
No, it's
counseling,
not. Yeah, no.
Right? I mean, now there's a lot of different channels and a lot of support groups for people. I mean, now like this whole bully thing is a huge thing, but back then it wasn't the same.
But I think it's also not as common still in brown culture.
No, it's not.
So it's like if you talk about, mental issues or just therapy is just like, I go for a yearly checkup to see how my body is doing. You should do the same thing. But I've always been very big about staying happy and keeping my mind in that happy mindset. So I would literally have these therapies with myself growing up. Okay, you just have to find yourself. And I think that's what happened with me, where I became much more stronger and strong-willed. So now you throw problems at me, I can solve any problem that generally I think girls, and especially brown girls, can't, because they were not put in the situation.
No, it's so funny you say that. I see that quite often, right, in our social circle. We have a lot of Pakistani friends in Central Florida and South Florida as well.
Yeah.
And not to put anyone down, but like, so my wife is a little different breed, medical school.
Yeah.
Her dad was a working class, mom was a stay-home wife.
Yeah.
So my wife had determination to become something, and so she we started dating when I was 21 and she was 18.
Yeah.
So we've been together for 20 years. So she's doing library 7 days a week. Her friends are outside partying, doing their thing, but she's studying.
Yeah.
She's being built for being strong. Our friends are not the same. Our female friends, the DC ones are, you could have a discussion with them, and so many limitations, fragile.
Yeah.
But that's the way that's the culture we're being sold.
Yeah.
Not their fault.
Yeah, agreed. It's not.
Right? But at the same time, there's a debate, I'm sure you hear about the feminine and masculine energy, and women should be housewives and bear your kids and prepare food for you as you should be going out there and conquering. Mm-hmm. And that thought process for me has been interesting, right? It's like, what's the right answer?
Yeah.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit here. So you're going through this whole situation.
Yeah.
How did you overcome those proposals and tell your mom and dad, say, hey, guys, good, sounds promising, but for me, it's not the way to go?
I was a fighter.
You've always been a fighter.
I've always been a fighter, and if I strongly believe in something, I will just
all the way through.
I will go all the way through, and there were constant, obviously, proposals being thrown at me, and it didn't help every time you go to a wedding or a setting. It's just more proposals come, and the more you have to say no, it just caused chaos at home. But I mentioned my brother was always on my side, so he always helped. But it was also because I was very strong-willed. I knew what I wanted, and I told them that I'm not going to get married for the wrong reason, and you have to be okay with that. And I continuously said that until it happened. And I was like, this is my life. I have to live it my way, and you have to be okay with it.
I salute you, girl. I salute you. That's tough, man. Yeah. I could only imagine the pushback and the guilt.
Oh, yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not their fault.
Not
it's
their fault.
because
Day programming.
it's like, we have a lot of cousins. So all my cousins around me, even younger, got married by the time and had kids by the time I was getting married. And at the end, like, I had stopped going to family gatherings and all of that because I didn't want to be in a negative environment. There was this one time, one of my aunts, I'm not gonna say who, but
Say the name. Say the name. No, I'm joking. No, please. I don't want to get you in trouble.
She came to me and she was like, oh, like as if I'm sick, literally. So she's like,
God.
I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I always pray for you that you get married as well, because we were at one of my cousin's weddings. And how do you respond to that? So I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shukriya.
Shukriya.
And I know myself what's happening with her daughter or daughters who have gotten married. But, I'm never a type of person who will make someone feel bad. No. So I was like, it's okay. Maybe she means from a good place, or maybe she doesn't. It's fine.
That's pretty big of you. That's pretty big of you. Miss Pakistan, let's talk about that. How did that come up? I mean, again, let's go back, mom and dad, good people.
Yeah.
Conservative.
Yeah.
Your mom wears a hijab.
Yeah.
Right?
She does.
And a daughter is coming from Miss Pakistan. Let's talk about that.
So that's also another thing. Okay. So growing up, I would get a lot of modeling offers. And me growing up on Bollywood, I was like, okay, well, if I am getting these, modeling offers, why not? So I did a few, ramp walks and shoots, and I did a drama that didn't go through. The pilot was shot and
in America or Pakistan?
It was in America, but there's have you heard of Imran Abbas?
Yes.
Oh, you have.
I'm a big Bollywood guy.
I was paired against him.
Wow.
So
big deal.
The first episode, I guess, came out, but the director and the storyline wasn't strong. So they come out with the pilots, and
see
then
if it sells or not.
If it sells, like the channel will pick it up. Exactly.
So
that's what happened. But after that, even though that didn't go through, I started getting a lot of offers from Pakistan. But then here comes the parents, no, you cannot do this. And there was like constant battle at home. So I was like, Hira, you got to pick your battles. So it's fine. They don't want me to do it, so I won't. So similarly, fast forward, I'm like running my business, doing my thing. I had just started dating Anil. And I get this message on Facebook to apply. And I was like, is this even real? It was from a girl, so I ignore it the first time, and then she messages me again, and she sends me the links and the videos and such. So I was like, this is legit. And then I told Anil, and he was like, Hira, this is a great opportunity. Yeah. You should definitely go for it. And I was like, I don't know, my parents, they're not gonna like it. He's like, you have to go for it. In fact, he filled out my application.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So he is the reason I went into it. And honestly, he's the reason I even won, because there was a lot of mentorship that he provided throughout. And he was the only person who was there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So everybody had like families, and he was the only person. That's so sweet. And I won.
That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. Wow. So you won Miss Pakistan.
Yeah.
How many girls did you compete with?
There were about 17, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So listen, I can see that trajectory going to Pakistani dramas and acting in movies. You're a pretty girl, mashallah.
Thank you.
I can see that happening. Do you ever step back and say, wait a minute, like, I love what I'm doing as an entrepreneur, but imagine, with Humayun Say, the big actors of all time, international shoots happening. You ever step back and say, what if that would have been my life?
So, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I think what was in my kismat, what I was destined to, I am doing. I mean, imagine doing construction, especially being a girly girl as I am, I never thought of doing.
Yeah.
But I am also very adaptable. So you put me in a room, in a situation, I will come out of it strong. So do I wish like I did that? Not really. Now that I see and like the type of impact I make in my life and, you know, in my parents' life and what I'm able to do for them. Obviously, I'd like to do more, but when I did win Miss Pakistan, I was like, well, you don't have to do just one thing.
Sure.
Like you are an entrepreneur, you're a businessman, and you're doing your podcast. Right. So if the right offer comes and, you know, I'm a planner, if I can plan it out, okay, because shootings take what, 2 months out of your life
100%.
Maybe. So
that's true.
I'll look into it if it happens.
Wow, that's a good story.
Yeah.
Well, life turned out pretty well, so all good, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So Anil.
Yeah.
Love his story. I love his energy. He's the way you guys have your banter, the comedy. It's a really good example of a friendship becoming a marriage.
Yeah.
You guys both should do a really good job about that. Let's talk about him. How do you come, this chapter of Hira's life, the hero comes in. How was that? How did mom and dad come around that? And
yeah. So him and I were both into fitness. I don't have a lot of hobbies other than working out and fitness. I met him through my personal trainer who I was training with, and my personal trainer became my really good friend. I actually started working out with a personal trainer because I was going through a lot mentally and somewhere in my life, and I was like, okay, I need that positivity at the you know, on the fitness level, and someone who can push me to the next level. So that's why I joined him and his classes. So became really good friends with him, and we started hanging out and going. And I'm like as girly as I am, I grew up with, you know, a lot of boys, so I'm also like a boy as well. So I get along with boys. So we started hanging out. And Anil comes, right? So during Ramadan, I don't go out, I don't do anything, I'm very focused. And after Ramadan, I'm like, hey, let's hang out. And then he's like, yeah, I have this new friend. He's also working out with me. Pretty cool guy. So he kind of introduced us. And then he put in my head, he's like, he'll be a great option. You know, he's an entrepreneur, he's successful, very good guy. And I was like, no, he's not Muslim. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So that's how I met him, and we became very good friends. One of the things I always say about Anil, I've never met such a honest, transparent person. And I think just a kind-hearted person. And that really won my heart. And I was like, okay, I would like to be with someone like that, and that's how it started.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I was before this, I was interviewed by Steven on his podcast, and he asked me what, you know, one of the life lessons for the audience. I said, finding the right running mate, husband or wife, right? And Patrick Bet-David, you're familiar with that. So Patrick has his book. He talks about it, how him and his wife, before marriage, he bought his book. He said, honey, you're out of my section out, and he goes over religion. Are you going to be are you a Jewish, Muslim, Christian? You want kids, no kids? You're liberal, Republican, whatever your thing is. You know, do you want Sunday to be church day? You want to go to vacation? Like, it's a lot of questions that I think are super important to cover.
Absolutely.
Right?
More important than being in love with someone.
Yes, that's
because those are important questions. And I will not take the credit. He asked and answered his hard questions. Okay, this is what I want to do. And I wish he was here, but you should definitely.
We'll do a part 2. And we'll
yeah,
have
you
him
should
back.
definitely have him. And 3 months into a relationship, this is hilarious. He was like, "Let's open a joint bank account."
I love it.
And I was like, "What?" I kind of ghosted him for.
Yeah.
He talks about that all the time.
Oh, man.
But it was just he knows exactly what he wants, and he didn't hide anything. You know, when you meet someone, they want to show off. They want to present their best sides, just like when you're interviewing, right? So, but with him, he put, you know, being such a masculine man, he put everything out there, his insecurities, his,
All the cards on the table.
all the cards on the table. And this is what I want. This is, and that made me open up about things like, which I was like, I don't want to change my last name, which was, you know, a thing. And I don't want to have kids, which was a discussion. So I think if it was any other man, I would never be able to out loud speak about those things. So I think he opened those doors. So I'll give him all the credit.
Can't wait to meet him in person and interview him as well.
Yeah.
The kids thing, interesting topic. You know, that caught my eye. Like your initial podcast interview you did with Jasmine, you're very vocal about it.
Yeah.
For a Pakistani woman in America to say what you said, and I honestly, I agree with you. I think everyone needs to think about what life they want to live.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean or and rude to our elders, but one side doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
For some people, marriage is not an option. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Agreed.
So especially men, right? Men who like to have different partners and they want to enjoy life. That's their way of enjoying life. To have different girlfriends, go for it. All power to you. But when you do that, when you have a wife, that for me becomes like a hard no. Like, dude, like you want to be single, guy, do it. Kids, same thing, right? Everyone has that decision to make for themselves. How was that for you to go into your mom and your dad? And first, one thing, well, I'm gonna marry. Your husband is, I think, half Indian, half Korean.
Yes.
What a mix, right? Number one.
Yeah.
Then number two, mom and dad, I don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
How was that dialogue? And
So I haven't openly told them that.
you haven't.
No.
They're still waiting for a kid.
Well,
grandkid?
no, my mom always asks, of course. With my dad, he's never really asked hard questions, honestly. But my mom, she definitely wants me to have, you know, at least a kid.
Sure.
Because she's like, there's, you know, what is the life without, you know, your family, and your family is your child. So I think I've tried to openly tell her why and why not, but it's just there's a difference in a mindset and thinking. So I think if I was given different options and I was doing different things with life, I definitely think motherhood is a beautiful thing. But I also don't like the fact that, you know, if someone wants to have kids, you're not asked, why do you want kids?
Wow.
So why are you asked if you don't want? And why are those people made uncomfortable because they choose something different? So that's what I have a problem with, that, okay, if that's what I choose, then that's what I choose. I shouldn't have to explain. And a lot of times I find myself explaining and I'm just like, why do I have to explain? Because I had an employee who had 6 kids and couldn't manage those kids. And she had a 7th one. And I didn't ask her, why did you have a 7th child?
Yeah.
But I get asked all the time,
why don't you have kids?
why don't you have kids? So I do kind of like, I wish I could change that perspective, that, you know, people have their personal preferences.
100%.
You shouldn't ask someone that. Yeah.
You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. You're an entrepreneur. You're a serial entrepreneur. You have multiple projects going on. You're married to the love of your life, right? You're a great daughter. How do you juggle everything? I mean, I saw you Ramadan. Your posts were very inspiring to me. I fast. My wife fasts. Ramadan is not easy
Yeah.
by any means. And I mean, I think you even work out. You and Anil work out during
Yeah.
Ramadan. I salute you guys for that. Like, how do you juggle it all? Like, you've taken a vacation with your husband, and you know you have the businesses you're running. That your mom and dad are older. We talked about that off the camera. My in-laws are getting that age now. Me and my wife put a lot of effort into them, make sure they're okay, vacation-wise, this and that. I got my father-in-law an IV the other day in Miami. Got a guy to go to his house and give him an IV.
Yeah.
You know, because you know it's my father to me now, right?
Yeah.
But how do you manage everything?
Planning,
Yeah.
prioritizing,
Right.
and I think planning and prioritizing, it's like two very, very important
Crucial.
things. Yeah, it's very crucial. So I know when work is, priority is, during this time to this time. Like my mom knows not to call me unless it's important. She knows I'm in meetings. My husband, same thing. Like and also having that, understanding people around you who promote you and help you. And then I focus. Again, you have to be strong-willed when it comes to, okay, this is, these are my parents, this is their time, and I'm going to do this. So you have to be strong in your own values and what you want with life, and I think everyone else will come for the ride. So I think a lot of times what happens is people themselves, they don't know what they want with life, and that's where the problem happens, and they are trying to live someone else's life. I'll give you an example. We were at a Eid party a few days ago, and my mom was like, oh, Pakistani family, so a lot of comparisons. Oh, this person has so and so, like, why doesn't, you should be even further. And I stopped her right there, and I was like, look, everyone has their own path and their own luck. We need to focus on ourselves and improve ourselves. How he got there, what he did, it's on him, it's his life, and you should just be happy for other people. So I think a lot of times it's that mindset, and I was so happy that I was able to teach her that, and she actually, for a change, she didn't say anything in return, and I think she understood my point.
She took it and she ran with it.
So I think just knowing your place and not comparing your life to other people. I think a lot of times people are trying to keep up. You know, that Instagram life also now. They want to go on vacation because other people are going. They want their spouses to do certain things because they're seeing. Yeah. So I'm very much about, okay, this is what I have. This is my life. These are strengths I have. These are weaknesses I have. These are blessings I have. These are things I have to work on. I have to work harder. So I think just knowing yourself and prioritizing.
Love it.
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes left. Do you believe in law of attraction?
Absolutely.
To manifest your vision, what you say, you speak about, right?
I do my mantras every morning.
Love it.
And I pray every morning. So I want to be around positivity, positive people. I've cut so many people out because of negativity. So I think you have to keep positive environment around you to even help yourself grow. So I definitely believe in law of attraction. I believe in manifestation. Prayer. I believe in positivity, and being positive to even yourself. I think a lot of times we're very hard on ourselves. So yeah.
That's awesome. Hira, where can we find you?
I think I'm most fun on Instagram. But I'm also on LinkedIn. Yes. I'm also on TikTok. Yeah. I'm on Facebook.
You're on Facebook? I was trying to look for your profile on Facebook. I couldn't. You have a page. It's not a.
No, I have a profile as well. So the page is Miss Pakistan page, and I don't stay up to date on that. But yes, I am on Facebook. But I think I am mostly on Instagram. That's so amazing. Hira Khan official.
I love your page.
With 2 R's.
Yes, I love your page. We're gonna do a power couple. Have Saima and Anil join us next time.
Yes.
Come see us in Orlando or Miami. We'd love to have you guys.
Definitely.
You're doing amazing work. And I have so many more questions to ask you. We're short on time, but part 2 is coming out soon. Hira, thank you so much for joining us today. It meant a lot. I know we've been talking for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Your feedback initially was really good, improving the podcast. I hope it now meets your standards.
Don't embarrass
listen,
me.
I
embarrass me.
love the feedback from an entrepreneur to another entrepreneur. It was good. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.